Wait, hold on. I also want to say something about the Sacramento Kings. Um, I'm sure that a lot of people, everybody will say that, oh yeah, man, Sacramento Kings, man, great season, great return back to the playoffs. Y'all did well. Better luck next year. But I'm not the type of guy that believes in that, man. I felt like they really missed out on a big opportunity to shock the NBA world to make a statement.
Oh no, they'll be back next year. Come on.
But you could, I mean, looking at other teams that overachieved in the past, like when the Pacers they took LeBron the Cavs to a Game 7 in like what 2018. We were saying the same thing about the Pacers. You know, Victor Oladipo, that squad, they'll be back, and they never were back in that same scenario. They were never that good.
Hold on. Can I rebuttal?
Yeah, you can.
My first one is I do think they'll be back because the core around the guys or the core of the Sacramento Kings are young. As I said, De'Aaron Fox, he had the second most points in a playoff debut. He's just entering his prime. You have Malik Monk, Terrence Davis, Davion Mitchell gave you good minutes this series. I wish he played more in the Game 7, but you also have Mike Brown, who's a great coach. So the players will continue to develop under him. Sabonis will be back. And we know at least in the regular season, Sabonis is an all-NBA caliber player. So I think they'll be back. And I do think it is a great season for them. I just think that they were unlucky with seeding because most of the time 100%. When you're a 3 seed, you don't have to face the reigning champions, the 4-time champions in the last like 6-7 years with 3 Hall of Famers and a Hall of Fame coach. I just think that they ran into the worst opponent possible.
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason to be worried about it. It's just it was unlucky. That's all it is. And they even with that unlucky seeding playing one of the hardest first round matchups that you could have, I mean, they still took it to 7 games. Like, and for the first time in 17 years being in the playoffs, they still took the defending champs to 7 games.
And that's what I was going to say. I think that's a great point that Owen's making because we saw in another series we'll get to the Knicks and my Cavs. The Cavs were by far, in my opinion, the more talented team, and yet they still lost just by sheer lack of playoff experience. In other series, the Brooklyn Nets got swept from lack of playoff experience, and we could say maybe talent. I'm trying to think of even the Grizzlies, right? The Grizzlies just have way less experience than LeBron and the Lakers. But for the Kings, most of their players were making their playoff debuts. Most of their players were getting the first lick of playoff experience. And to take the reigning champions to 7 is impressive. So I think they got to hold their heads up high.
Of course.
Right. And like you said, they took the reigning champs to 7, even with 3 of their starters, even Keegan Murray, the rookie, he didn't play good at the start of the series for like the first couple 2-3 games, and they still took him to 7. Which
Kevin Huerter was a no-show.
He was complete trash. Like
Red Velvet, where are you at, bro?
I don't know the issue with shooters that do extremely well in the regular season, like shoot 40 plus from 3-pointer the whole regular season, and then when the lights are bright in the playoffs, they're complete bricks. They getting open looks even, and they not hitting. The shot's not hitting. I don't understand that. But as I was saying, right, the Kings, 3 of their starters played. They didn't play well. Sabonis, who has playoff experience with the Pacers. Harrison Barnes, he was on those 2015, that championship winning team, Golden State. And Kevin Huerter, who was on the Hawks when they made that deep run in the Eastern Conference Finals a couple of years back. So, Matt, you say that the Kings don't got playoff experience, but 3 of those guys I mentioned who were a big part of their success, including Sabonis, who was their second best player, they all were complete. Like they're all complete no-shows. They were a non-factor. That's not a good sign to me. And for Sabonis, going back to him, he was poor, man. You can't. Sabonis is probably going to be on All-NBA this year, 3rd or 2nd. Who cares? It doesn't really matter. But with the Warriors, right, they guard him like he was Ben Simmons. they were like, yeah, man, you can take that midi, you can take that 3, you can take that
Giving him
jumper.
the midi. Giving him the midi.
We'll give you that. And for the most part, Sabonis didn't take that. His head was completely turned from the rim at times. And I'm like, bro, I'm watching this stuff live. Like, dude, you were the second best player on this team, man. Be the guy you were 82 games before this series. I don't get it. And also I like to say that in a Western Conference that had the Suns, they had a weird year. The Lakers had a weird year. The Warriors had a weird year, and the Mavs, they had a down year as well. The Kings, they're not gonna. Well, it's not a complete certain that they're going to be in a top 3 seed. They're going to be in a top position next year, and I'm not even including the Thunder. We're going to get better. They're going to get Chet back. The Mavs, they're gonna retool their roster too. They still got Luka and possibly Kyrie if they re-sign him. So that's a sign as well. And you still got teams like the Nuggets and the Grizzlies who are top 2 in the Western Conference. So it's not a guarantee that they'll be ever back in this position again.
It's not a guarantee, but at the minimum, it's a success.
Nothing is, right?
And I don't think that you should take that away. I mean, I understand what you're saying, where 3 of their starters have it, but I mean, Kevin Huerter and Sabonis report, and Harrison Barnes was barely getting like what double-digit minutes in that Game 7. I think he and then the Game 6 he played very few minutes, but I still understand where you're going, Dibo, but here's where I defer, is that they showed so much promise, right? You lose Game 4 against the Warriors, 1 on a last-second shot by Harrison Barnes that rims out, right? So there you could have gone up 3-1, right? Then you go home for Game 5, and the Warriors take it. Everybody's expecting them to lose in 6 now. Warriors going back to the Chase Center, and what do they do? They shock the world, beat the Warriors by double digits at the Chase Center, something nobody gave them a chance to do. And they were up at half in Game 7 against the Warriors. So, like, they shocked the world. They competed against the reigning champions who they look poised to make another run. I know we'll probably get into the game that they played last night, but, I mean, this is a good team that they played. So I understand where you're coming from, but I just think the season was a success.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, I think sorry.
Owen.
Last point, though. Move on. And I think your worries about Sabonis should be a non-issue. I mean, the last time you're talking about how he has playoff experience, yeah, but the last time he was in the playoffs, right? He was not the player he is now, right? I mean, you're asking so much more of him now than you were in 2018 when he was with the Pacers. That maybe he's just not ready for it yet. Maybe give him one more season, and I think he'll be fine. He has another 82 games to develop, play under pressure, and I think that you'll be good with that.
Okay, and I'm gonna say my last point too. So the Kings, right? They had a successful season, first playoff appearance in like forever. What 03? When not 03. I think 2006, right? So 15 plus years before the season started was the last time they made the playoffs. Great season. Mike Brown wins Coach of the Year. De'Aaron Fox, Clutch Player of the Year. Great overall year. Okay. All right, cool. But in this series, right, they went 2-0, and they had to get 2 out of the remaining 5 series to advance to the second round. They didn't do that. When the series was tied at 2-2, it was a best-of-3 scenario, which they had 2 home games to advance. They couldn't do that. They blew a 2-0 lead in this series, man. They choked. And I don't want to say that, but that's what it is. This is what it is, man. They choked.
I don't think it's a choke, though. I don't think it's a choke, though. Okay. Can I hold on? We do got to move on, but give me 1 second. They go up 2-0, right?
Yeah.
They take care of home court. I understand you're looking at it. Oh, they have to win 2 of the next 5. The Warriors just have to take care of home court, though. At the end of the day, the Warriors have to take home court. They take care of home court in Game 3. Game 4, like I said, came down to the last possession where De'Aaron Fox gets double-teamed, passes it out to Harrison Barnes. Good look from 3 to win the game, and it just rims out. You're barely losing to the Warriors at the Chase Center. And the Warriors, by the way, great home team. Then Game 5 happens. They lose at home, right? Oh, so we're all assuming that they're going to lose Game 6. They win Game 6, and then Game 7, Steph Curry has the best Game 7 game in history. Like, I understand where you're coming from, but you have to understand they're playing 3 Hall of Famers and a Hall of Fame coach with miles of experience more than them.
And almost the entire team with no playoff experience. Like, yeah, that's what you're saying. It's ridiculous. Yeah, saying it's a choke, that's a bit of a stretch. I mean, losing or winning the first 2 like the Suns did in the finals against the Bucks, and then losing the next 4. I mean, that's a choke, right? Like, you can't be having that. But no, let's move on though. We've beat this topic to a pulp, but it just shows how good the series was, how much we've been talking about it.